On today's Daily Slab, I am going to vent about sports. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's Daily Slab. Welcome everyone to the Daily Slab. I am Nate, and what's happening today is that Wisconsin sports is such a disappointment that I am wearing a Kraken shirt because it was a bad day for Wisconsin sports yesterday, and I am frustrated. So the day started out with an Aaron Rodgers trade, which was expected, and that's not the frustrating part. In fact, I think the Packers did very well. According to the Jimmy Johnson trade chart, the first round pick we moved up is equivalent to 100 points in trade value. That's essentially the 100th pick in the draft. We gave up a 5th rounder, got back a 6th rounder. That lost us about 15 points. So that combination, the pick we picked up, or the 2 spots we picked up, minus the 15 points, plus the 2nd rounder we picked up at 42nd, according to the Jimmy Johnson trade value chart, that was worth 565 points, which is essentially the 33rd pick in the draft, or the 34th pick in the draft. Pretty good for Aaron Rodgers. But we also get a 2nd round pick next year, or a potential 1st round pick. Wherever that might land, that will bump us up into what will realistically likely be a mid-round 1st round pick grade for all the points combined. Whether it be a late half of the 1st round pick or an early half of the 2nd round pick, whatever it might be, we will get the equivalent of a 1st round draft grade when it's all said and done with all of the picks and everything that's been compiled together according to the Jimmy Johnson trade value chart. And you can see the trade value chart on your screen there. Pretty good haul for Aaron Rodgers, and obviously all good things must come to an end. But it is still sad, obviously, to see a player who's been a Packer since 2005 walking out the door to go play for another team like Brett Favre before him. I did think that once he signed that last contract extension that he would retire a Packer. Not the case, and he is moving on to the Jets. Happy we got something for him, but still it is sad, right? And so that's how the day started off. Also, in case you were wondering, Aaron Rodgers cards, slightly on the move. We're looking at his raw refractor, Topps Chrome refractor from 2005, and that card is up 49% in the last 6 months. Pretty healthy rise there. Take that for what you will. It is up 49% with the news of the new signing, or the new trade. So then you move on to the Brewers, right? And we're playing the lowly 7-13 Tigers. The Tigers, who are last place in the MLB in runs scored per game. The Tigers, who are 4th to last in run differential. The Tigers, who are 22nd in runs given up per game at 4.71 runs per game given up. So, they only score 3 runs a game. They give up 4.71 runs a game. We should be all right? The Brewers have been doing well. Wrong. The Brewers lost to the Tigers. They lost to the Tigers, of all teams. When all the other teams in our division are beating up on the Tigers, we managed to lose 4-2. We scored less runs than they give up on average, and we gave up more runs than they usually score on average. So you have the Aaron Rodgers trade, and then you have the Brewers losing to the Tigers. Usually, the Brewers losing, you trading away your franchise QB should be the worst thing that happens to a state in a day. But then, if that doesn't happen, the Brewers losing to the Tigers should be the worst thing that happens to a state in a day. And yet, not to be outdone, the Bucks managed to outdo all of that in one fell swoop. I've never seen a more embarrassing performance in my life. I've never seen a more disappointing performance in my life, and I watched a lot of 08, 09, 10, 11, 12, 13 Milwaukee Bucks teams. Those were not great teams. 09 team was good. Andrew Bogut gets injured. 10, 11, 12, 13 especially, terrible, terrible teams. And yet yesterday was the icing on the cake for me and the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, it was terrible. We were up 101 to 89, the Bucks were. 101 to 89 with 6 minutes left in the game. That's a 12-point lead. You only have to last 6 minutes. They lost 119 to 114. They scored 13 points while giving up 30 in the last 6 minutes of the game. Absolutely embarrassing. Drew Holiday on the day, 6 for 19, including 2 for 11 from 3. The most frustrated I've ever been with Drew Holiday in my entire life. The amount of times that Drew Holiday have scored 4 or 5 possessions in a row. Things are clicking. Guys are passing. Drew Holiday would come down with like 15 seconds left on the shot clock and hoist a contested 3. Like, what are you doing? Our offense has been clicking. We've been moving the ball, and then you come down and do that. 2 for 11. The Bucks on the day were 1 for 9 in uncontested threes. You can see this tweet here. 1 for 9 in uncontested threes. Wide open threes. You make 1. You lose by 5 points. Likelihood is, if you make another, you don't have to have as many fouls down the stretch. You probably don't even lose by 2 points. If you made it, you might even win. If you made one more wide open 3. And it came from guys like Pat Connaughton and Grayson Allen and Brook Lopez, guys that usually make those, missing the wide open attempts. Super frustrating. Chris Middleton, we spoke about him. He was 4 for 12. He shot 33% from the field. And the reason I bring up Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton is because this was the biggest Bucks game of the year for them. This was a make or break. You either go down 3-1 or you tie it up 2-2. You have to get a game in Miami no matter what if you want to win this series because you lost one at home. So you have to win this game. And what did they do? They shot 6 for 19 and 4 for 12 from the field between the two of them. Absolutely atrocious. And the decision-making on Drew Holiday's part, also atrocious. And then you fast forward, and Bobby Portis scored 5 points on the game. The bench scored 16 total. Bobby Portis at one point passed up. This is like a 6 man of the year type guy, passing up a wide open 3-point attempt for a guy who can make threes. He just passed it right up. And then I think those extra passes turned into a turnover. We missed bunnies at the hoop. Giannis missed layups. Brook missed little bunnies. I think Pat Connaughton missed a bunny at one point. It was terrible. Now, Giannis did play well. He had 26 points, 10 rebounds, 13 assists on 54% shooting. Not much more I can ask from Giannis than that, coming off of an injury in which he missed 2 games because of a bad back hip area. Like, he did as well as you could have asked. He played amazingly. And yet, the rest of the Bucks, not Brook, but the rest of the Bucks outside of Brook and Giannis, failed the team miserably yesterday. And it's made even worse by the fact that Jimmy Butler had a 56-point game. Jimmy Butler was 4th all-time in points scored in a NBA playoff game yesterday. He had 56 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, while only taking 28 shots, 19 for 28. It was an incredible, incredible game. The Bucks lost by 5 when a guy did that. That was a winnable game. A must-win game. I don't think you're winning 3 in a row after that letdown. So it was a must-win game. And in the biggest game of the year against a guy that just couldn't miss, he was prime MJ, essentially. The amount of contested mid-range jumpers that he was just not just nailing, but swishing. Just swish, swish, swish. Not hitting off the rim and falling in, right? Beautiful shots. And then Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday making a ton of money combined in the biggest game of the year. In a must-win situation, they fell flat on their faces. While Jimmy Butler, in a huge situation, single-handedly willed his team to victory over a team that has the best player in the game, the better point guard, the better third star, the better fourth star, the more height, the more athleticism. And yet, it was the Heat that went up 3-1 instead of the series being tied 2-2. And that was because of Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler was incredible, don't get me wrong. His PSA 10 base card, you can see it here, that has skyrocketed in the last month. We're talking 80% increase on this card in the last month. And you can see the last couple sales on the 24th and 25th even higher than that. It was an amazing, amazing game from Jimmy Butler. No taking anything away from him because it was one of the best single performances I've seen from a player in a playoff game in my entire life. It was like right up there with Giannis's 50-point game in the finals. That's how impressive Jimmy Butler was in this game. And yet, they only won by 5. And they won by 5 because of guys like Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton. Chris not taking enough shots, only 12 shots. Drew taking too many shots at 19 when he couldn't make them. Super frustrating. So upset with the Bucks. You watch the entire year, and yeah, I get it. Giannis missed a lot of game 1, and he missed the last 2 games. If he doesn't miss those games, or the rest of game 1 or game 3, it's probably a different story. But it happens. But he was back for game 4. He played well in game 4, and the rest of the team was an absolute failure outside of Brook Lopez. So frustrating. Makes me question why I like sports. If you guys feel the same way or have these situations, commiserate in the comments below, because it was as frustrating as I've ever been watching a sport in my entire life yesterday. Just so upset with the Bucks. And that is sports. I get it. And there's been some good movement. You know, Aaron Rodgers cards up because of the movement. Jimmy Butler cards up because of what he did. But, man, it was a tough day yesterday. Super frustrated. And we're going to wash our hands of that day. And we're going to move on to bigger and better things in the next couple daily slabs. Just had to get that off my chest. All right, thank you everyone for watching today's Daily Slab. If you like this video, please click that like button. And as a friendly reminder, I do have a 2023 BOWMAN baseball break today. It is going to be a big one. There's not that many spots left as of this recording, and I don't know if there will be any spots left by the time you watch this video tomorrow. But if there are, we are on Whatnot at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern time with BOWMAN baseball. We've got some boxes and we've got 3 case breaks. Should be a great time. So I hope to see you there for that. But otherwise, please like this video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow for the next Daily Slab. See you, everyone.